Aloha, everyone, and welcome back to the program. After a tour of northern Japan, we're finally back at it. Now, unfortunately, while I was away enjoying the deep snow, the great food, and the reintroduction to a recording that I've now purchased, I think 3 times, we've lost a legend. Bob Weir was a founding member of the Grateful Dead and one of the most prolific songwriters and performers of all time. So if you would, please like, share, comment, subscribe, as we really do the only thing that we can on a crappy little program like this, and that's just to come together and share just a tiny bit of his great musical legacy. So here we go. It's Bob Weir and the Grateful Dead performing the Robert Johnson classic, Walkin Blues from 1989. Just a nice old groove tune. Enjoy it, folks.
I woke up this morning and I felt around for my shoes. That's when I knew I held them walking blues. I woke up this morning, I looked around and felt around for my shoes. That's when I knew I had them on, being a walking blue. Well, I feel most like blowing my lonesome home. Woke up this morning when I head was gone. I wanna leave my old lonesome home. Woke up this morning when I was gone. Tell you the walking blues ain't bad, is it? Worst old feeling I'm on ever had. Don't let her tell you these old walking blues ain't so bad. Worst old feeling I'm always I've ever had. Leaving in the morning if I have to. Well, I've been mistreated and I don't mind. I don't wanna leave. dollar most any. Where she goes, she got a from her head down to her toe. Breaking on the dollar most any. Where she goes, where she. Woke up this morning and I filled around for my shoes. That's when I knew I had them walking blues. I woke up this morning, look around and feel around for my shoes. That's when I knew I had them walking blues. Walking blues. Walking blues. Walking blues, walking blues, walking blues, walking blues, walking blues, walking blues, walking.
Ooh, so there we have it. Bob Weir and the Grateful Dead, 1989. Robert Johnson classic, Walkin' Blues. You know, Bob Weir often called himself a pathological fan when it came to the Bay Area sports teams. And while I don't know if he actually ever talked about it, it's hard to imagine him embracing, you know, the idea of load management when it comes to sports, because after all, Bob quite likely played more concerts in front of more people than any artist in history. The best estimates have the Grateful Dead playing more than 2,300 shows, with Bob adding an additional 2,000 shows on his own with other bands and side projects and guest appearances and such. And how many of those shows were in front of 50, 60, 70,000 people? Who knows? Now, if you're a Deadhead and you have better information on that sort of things, which I'm guessing probably numbers about 10 million, pass it along. Put it in the comments below. I'd really love to pick your brain on some of this shit. By the way, the all-time winner as far as most performances by any artist apparently is B.B. King, with an estimated 15,000 shows under his belt. Now, most of those were, of course, in smaller venues, and he did for most of his career, really to the very end, play somewhere between 250 and 300 shows a year for 50 years or so. I don't care how big of the rooms you're playing in. That's freaking impressive. Like, I guess the simple truth is we'll probably never know which artist played in front of played the most concerts in front of the most number of fans. But I will say this. The only stats I refuse to accept is I will never consider Wayne Newton's 1 million shitty Vegas shows. No. Just won't do it. Nope. Now, one more cool Bob Weir Grateful Dead fact to share with you. And again, if you're a Grateful Dead fan, you already know this stuff, so nothing new. But of the estimated 2,350 Grateful Dead shows, there are recognized 2,200 bootleg recordings that people have tracked, apparently, which means 93.6% of all Grateful Dead concerts have been recorded and logged and shared somewhere. That's just freaking amazing, right? They've been allowing fans to record the shows for so long, and it's so public and it's so well documented that basically 94% of all the Grateful Dead shows of all time have been recorded and somebody has logged it somewhere. Holy shit. Now, how could they do this? Why would they do this, right? Quite simply because no two Grateful Dead concerts were ever the same. And it's been said that no song has ever been played the same twice. The Dead would change tempos on a song. They would change the arrangement. They would blend songs together, making 3 songs one song. Friend of the Devil could be a country song one day and a blues song the next. You know, kind of when I was putting this whole thing together, I saw an old interview Jerry Garcia and Bob Weir did on the Dave Letterman show. I don't know, maybe 20 years ago, whatever it was. And Dave asked him about letting fans record at the concert because it's a very rare thing to happen. And their answer was just really cool. They just said simply, you know, once we've played a song, we're done with it. That's it. And can you imagine having the creativity to play thousands of songs in so many different ways to go, I'm done with it. Just play it, throw it away. We don't care. We're done. We'll just do something else. It might actually be the most amazing Grateful Dead fact there is. Mind-blowing, really, if you think about it. And allowing fans to record the shows also shows how smart they were as a band, as a business, being the Grateful Dead. And we don't really think about the Grateful Dead as a business, right? Because what they did in allowing fans to record the shows was they built tremendous fan loyalty, greater brand loyalty than any recording artist, I think, in history. And they've often said that we didn't create the Grateful Dead. Our fans created the Grateful Dead. And despite having only one top 40 hit, we know which one it was, Touch of Grey, 1987. The Grateful Dead were still one of the highest grossing bands in the world for decades. Why? Because they invested in their fans. Another really smart thing that they did was they were early on able to retain the ownership rights to their master recordings, which at the time was almost unheard of, and also to control the publishing rights to their music, which today is still difficult for artists to do. Both of those things allowed them to really help them to guarantee long-term income. Again, smart, right? In fact, in the 1990s, the Grateful Dead earned a total of $285 million in revenue from their concert tours. 30 years after they started, they earned almost $300 million off their concert tours, which was second only to the Rolling Stones, a band who had a hell of a lot more than just one single hit song. Anyway, together, if we can, let's just go ahead and celebrate the life and the music of Bob Weir and the band that he helped create. And really, to the decision makers out there in music and in movies and in television and sports, take a lesson from the Dead if you could. You don't have to squeeze every nickel and dime out of your fans to build financial success. Invest in your fans and they will invest in you. The Dead are the proof of that. That's my soapbox for the day anyway. Look, if you would, please like, share, comment, subscribe. If you got any cool Dead stories, share it with us. Either way, appreciate you stopping by. We'll see you again real soon. Y'all take care, all right?